Hey guys, it's Miss Cheatwood. Today our assignment is going to be to get your notes completed, and then there's just a practice page that is attached with like 6 problems. If you did not bring your notebook home, do not worry, just use scratch paper to get it done. We're going to try to get this entire unit finished before Christmas break, so you're going to want to keep whatever notes that you are taking right now in a safe place. So if you don't have your binder, put them in some kind of notebook for you to use. Move all your Unit 3 pages, please, to the back, so it'll be back behind Unit 2. We will not be dealing with the circles from Unit 3, so you do not need those pages in your front note section. Take a second and get that done. You can pause the video while you're doing it. Okay, let's go ahead and start off and add our first unit cover for Unit 4. We're going to go ahead and write Unit 4 proportional relationship percentages. This is that where you write big, it's your cover page, it's going to take up the room. Remember, we just use the back of this page as our practice problems. On your second note sheet, so we're using 2 pages today. On your second note sheet, please write Unit 4, Section 1, unit rates. So this section is more so reviewing the idea of unit rates with ratios, which we learned in 6th grade. The essential question is going to be, what is the difference between unit rates and rates? And we're going to talk about that and discuss it today. You guys went over it a little bit for the past 2 days. Let's go ahead and start down in our notes section. And remember, if I'm going fast, pause the video and copy it all down. Okay, so what is a rate? Well, a rate is a ratio that compares 2 quantities of different units. So a ratio is just comparing 2 amounts, like red apples to green apples, but they're the same item. But a rate is comparing 2 different units. And I'm not talking about like inches to feet. I'm talking about 2 different things. So like if I said, how many doors do you have in your house? Well, you're in one house and then you're counting the doors. Houses and doors are 2 different units. If I asked, how fast do you get to school? You're going to tell me how many miles you drive and how long it takes you. So it's time versus distance. So here are 2 examples to write down. Miles to hours, which is kind of how we gauge our speed in our vehicles, and the cost to number of items. So if I say I'm going shopping and I'm buying 3 pairs of shoes, and I buy all the same shoes and I spend a certain amount of money, I'm comparing the cost to the number. So here are 2 examples of rates. 180 miles in 3 hours. Or I spent $2.24 on 2 sodas. Both of these things are comparing different kinds of units. Well, what is a unit rate? A unit rate is a rate where the denominator is 1. So if you look up above, the unit rate, or the rate, is talking about 3 hours and 2 sodas. If I was using a comparison with a unit rate, I would only want 1 hour and 1 soda and need to find out the cost of those. So how I find that is I divide the numerator and the denominator of the rate by the denominator. So whatever that denominator is, I'm dividing it by both. So I'm going to use the same example of miles per hour and cost per soda. So I'm going to divide both by the denominator. And I start that off with, if I traveled 180 miles in 3 hours, the denominator is 3, so I'm dividing both numbers by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1 hour. 3 divided by 180 is 60 miles. So that now gives me that I traveled 60 miles per hour. Now let's do our soda cost. If I spent $2.24 on 2 sodas, my denominator is 2, so I'm dividing by 2. I'm going to go ahead and take 2 divided by 2 equals 1. 2 divided by 2.24 equals $1.12. That means I spent $1.12 per soda. Okay, now that we have our examples, we're going to go ahead and have you guys do some practice on the practice side. So on the left side of yours, if you guys will please go ahead and write number 1 and number 2. And we're going to take the idea of what is the rate that it's giving us, and then we're going to find the unit rate. So if I'm looking at the first situation, it says 80 inches of snow over 10 days. So I'm comparing the inches of snow to the days. But if I'm looking at it, that tells me that 80 inches fall in 10 days, which is my rate. Now, I need to do my unit rate. So I have to divide both numbers by the denominator. So what's my denominator? It's going to be 10. So I'm dividing both by 10, dividing both by 10, which gives me 1 day, because 10 divided by 10, and 10 goes into 80 8 times. I get 8 inches. So this is going to be my unit rate. Please go ahead and try problem number 2 on your own. Okay, so you guys should all have written down 80 over 10 as the rate, and it would be 80 inches over 10 as the rate, and the unit rate should be 8 over 1, or 8 inches of snow per day. Number 2, please do on your own on the practice side. And then I would like you guys to just take a minute and please go ahead and summarize what is the difference between unit rate and rate. We just solved for unit rate and rate, so you should visibly be able to see that. Make sure you answer it completely, and then you're going to take a picture of both your practice 2 problems and your note sheet and turn that in on Google Classroom, along with doing those 6 problems on the worksheet. Have a great weekend, guys, and I will see you all on Monday. Well, I won't see you, but I'll see your guys' work. Thanks for all your hard work. Bye, guys.